Welcome
Well.
back to another
Back to another
of Rake Your Position. My chair is comfy and I'm living the dream. I'm Aaron, the host.
I am Joe, the groundskeeper. I have something for our non-local and our international listeners. This is actually a true story. So we did have a local prospect team that went away a few years ago. Just a couple days ago, got bought. New team name. The team name is I kid you not, the Doggy Paddlers. Just ordered to have offline. So
Is that in Quincy
I
now?
guess I guess what I was going to tell the non-locals and the international people is everybody's probably heard of the Mississippi River. Well, we're right beside the Mississippi River. Um, so I guess that's where the team name comes from, but it's kind of a joke of a team name, but hey, whatever, I guess, right?
And that's in Quincy. So is that where it's at? Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm Jay Lee the Rover. That is a pretty bad name.
It's one of the
We've
worst
got-
I've ever heard.
Jeff Jarrett owns the Lucky Horseshoes here in Springfield.
Jeff
Same.
Jarrett, like wrestler?
They
Yeah,
do
same-
wrestling events at the games.
Same group of people bought the Quincy one.
Does
really?
he
Okay.
does he still bring out his guitar?
I wouldn't doubt it. He does. He's still wrestling, so I wouldn't doubt if he's still taking some headshots with that sucker. All righty, guys. So we are back. This is our last off-season pod, and it is episode 70 here at Rake Your Position, which
Nice.
is
I'm
crazy.
sorry. I thought you were just gonna surprise us all. Like, this is our last podcast
The
ever.
last podcast ever.
And cue the Kool-Aid
cut.
drink.
So we are going to wrap up our off-season predictions as opening day is Thursday. I think the first game is Tarek Scoble and the Tigers at the Dodgers versus Blake Snell. Of course, we're going to recap a little bit of last week's shenanigans in the Tokyo series. But the official opening day is Thursday. So we're going to get our Eastern Division predictions in today, get our wild card predictions in, and of course, I'll tell everybody who's going to win the World Series and why. And that's where we're headed tonight.
With your 6-tier system, and we've already
Yeah,
broke
my
that down, and I've
6-tiered
got a
system.
600-tier system. And
I wonder who he has winning the World Series.
Get my Chipper Jones in there. Had to show off Chipper Jones. Larry Wayne, baby. So yeah, my 6-tiered system,
heard of him.
I had to be altered a little bit this time. I came up with a tie, and I was like, I need a new system. So my 3-tiered system has a part B that is extra 4 tiers.
Did you just add something in to make the Braves?
No,
People
no.
were
I'll
talking
get back to that in
100%
just
what
a
it
moment.
was.
Nope. The Braves didn't need any help getting in. You guys are crazy if you don't have
the
them.
spirit of the Native Americans. That's plus 2 points.
That's right.
I
Automatic.
love that. That's awesome.
All right. So before we get our predictions, just real quick recap of the news. Of course, last week, the Dodgers and Cubs were in Tokyo for Tokyo series. Surface level thoughts. I think this is a cool way to get baseball in Japan. It's such a far way to fly that you can't really do it during the season because that would just completely jack up everybody's schedules unless you did it during the All-Star break, maybe an extended All-Star week a little bit longer. But that's still, you don't want to mess up with the routines and superstitions of Major League ball players too much. So to do it, spring training makes the most sense. However, today the Braves flew to Arizona because they start in San Diego this week. So they left their Florida spring training, went to Arizona to do spring training for a couple of days in Arizona, and had to play the Cubs. And the Cubs, it would just be weird. Go to Tokyo to play Dodgers and then got to come back and finish spring training. But overall, what do you guys think about the Tokyo series? Second year we've done it.
I think you answered probably my first point I was going to make of why is it so much before the other games? It's weird. Like it throws our fantasy off. Not that matters, but It's just weird to have two games already done. But I guess what you said kind of makes sense, but still it's going to be like 2 weeks plus or so.
Yeah.
Um, Cubbies, I mean, they call it a sweep. It's only two games, but anytime you can say the words the Cubs got swept. Luke, Corey, I hope you guys hear that and all of our other Cubs listeners.
And Adam, my brother. That's for you, bud.
Yeah, Adam. Um, you're still going to finish ahead of the Cardinals, but um, lastly, I saw this on the internet, so it must be true.
100%.
So first, I saw the clip of crap. Who was a left fielder that tried to catch a ball in foul territory?
For which team? I guess I
I
didn't see
don't
this
even.
clip.
I don't remember.
Teoscar plays left for the
It
Dodgers,
wasn't
and
Teoscar,
then
I don't think.
Ian Happ plays left for the Cubs.
Mm-hmm. It's accurate.
Okay,
Last one
well,
I've
the
got.
left fielder went to catch it. A dude, the ball was completely in the stands, so a fan catches it, not interference, and you just see the fan like side eye the player. I think it must have been Ian Happ because I think the player had Dodgers jersey on. But then later, I hear that the guy who catches the ball in the stands, I hope this is correct because if it's not, I look stupid and I'm kind of hurt, is Rodney Pete, who, if you played Tecmo Super Bowl, you would realize he's the quarterback of the Detroit Lions. Like, I mean, he had a relatively good career, I think. So it's a cool video. If you haven't seen it yet, peek the video where the guy at the Japanese series catches it in foul ground and then side eyes
Nice.
the player. It's hilarious.
Good old
What do you
Rodney.
think, Jay Lee?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always good to go where there's a lot of big fan base. I mean, especially with the Dodgers having three-star Japanese players. I mean, that's pretty big and probably the best in our sport currently. But where was it? I mean, the game was at 5 a.m., so I definitely did not get up to watch it. But was it on a specific broadcast? Like, were people able to watch the game, or did you have to like subscribe to something?
Fox had it, so if you got Fox, you could watch it.
Okay, so one of the easier games to watch. Thanks,
Yeah.
MLB. Um, but I just think it would be tough to. I think you were alluding to this point a little bit, Cooney, of like having to fly to Japan, play two games, then come back and finish spring training. Like that'd be a tough adjustment to under like to be like, oh, these are spring training games. So like, oh no, these two games count towards the regular season.
Mhm.
Um, but I mean, I guess you're gearing up for that in spring training itself. I mean, if you're a pro, you're probably making these like legit at bats for the regular season. So they're pros, they probably handled it well. But I just think that would be a tough mindset to get into. You're like spring training, then you fly to Japan, play two games, and you come back and got to play more spring training. But um, I don't know. I'm a big component of playing other places to try to build a fan base, but I think they got to look inwards first before they continue to go to all these other places and make MLB more accessible on the TV. But that's a different topic for a different day.
Yeah, I wonder if a fun way to do it would be to do like a legit World Series
Well,
of like our champion plays the Japanese champion or something,
that'd be cool.
and do it after the season. You'd have to convince the players that it's worth it financially because the owners don't want any of their players to get hurt over there doing something like that in exhibition. But the hard part was especially I think the biggest question mark still for me is Roki Sasaki. Like cutting spring training 2 weeks short to get over there, and they wanted him to make one of the starts, which was cool. But he was not good, and he
He
only got
struggled.
it. The starters all went less than 5 innings, which is because it's still early, so they're not ready to go a full start yet. So that's what's tough about it. The hitters, you think they're probably ready at this point, as ready as they're going to be, but the starting pitching's not ready yet. But like, yeah, Sasaki was shaky. I'm sure that had to be a lot of nerves too. It was cool that the first game was Yamamoto versus Imanaga,
Hmm.
and then Roki got the second start for the Dodgers. Of course, Seiya's out there, and Otani hit a homer. Of course, go figure.
I mean,
Um,
yeah.
But the Dodgers, what about this? Freddie Freeman couldn't play. Mookie Betts couldn't play. And today, Mookie Betts said he's lost 15 pounds. That's how sick he's been.
I
So he's
saw
down to
that.
150 pounds. That's little
That's
bitty.
crazy.
So
And
not a lot of homers this year, probably.
yeah, and adding weight on during the season, like that's going to be tough. So, and Freddie doesn't miss games a lot, and he missed a bunch last year. Played through the World Series, had surgery, and now he's already having
Did they
rib
say
issues
why
again.
he? Oh, it's his rib.
Yeah, pain in his rib, taking batting practice, but they haven't said how bad it is. He didn't play either
Obviously,
game.
bad enough not to play, which is like you said, unlikely for him.
Yeah, so cracks are already shown, maybe question marks in the health of the Dodgers, but I mean, they're
No,
still nobody's going to feel sorry for them.
Here-
But
No, no. Um, but basically, like you said, the games are super early, so I wasn't watching them. But I checking the box scores. The thing that stuck out to me was, and I just looked it up here again. 2 games, the Cubs walked 15 people. Holy cannoli! I, as a GM, would probably cut the entire pitching staff, but I hate walks. I say that all the time. And 15 walks in 2 games, you're not gonna win many
do you
games.
have Imanaga's stats pulled up right there from that game? What are you looking at
I,
exactly?
just team stats overall.
Gotcha. Because yeah, like I saw his walk rate. Like he didn't. He may have had like one game with 3 walks last year, and then hardly even walked 2 guys in a start. And I think he walked 5 or 6. I don't know. So like it was clear the starting pitching wasn't quite ready
Hmm.
for those 2 games. None of the starters really looked like themselves. So that's what's kind of tough about doing it in spring training.
imagine how cool it would have been. And it never would have happened because they're playing it super safe. But like if Shohei pitched like an inning or something, that place would have erupted.
Yeah. Where was that championship game for that WBC? Was it in Japan that year,
I think
or
so.
did was it in the U.S. when Sasaki started? Otani got the save in the championship game, and his last batter was striking out Trout.
I just watched that at bat like 2 days ago.
Yeah, like
Three
big
swinging
dog,
strikes.
dude. Yeah, that's crazy. Well, all right,
Yeah.
so yeah, so that officially starts the season. Cubs in last place. Kike Hernandez is in the clubhouse, leading the league in homers. And rest of the league starts Thursday. With that, we need to get some predictions going. So, Joe, I'm going to kick it to you for American League East talkage.
Yeah. The coast. Uh Coast of the East. AL East. I'll go ahead and start with what I got, I guess. Um First things first, payrolls. So New York Yankees 275 mil. I said this exact same thing last year. It was like yesterday, and I'm going to say it again. What an omega lol of a team that Toronto has for $235 million. And I pull this off of not Fangraph, Sport Track, so I assume it's accurate. Bo Sox 184 mil, Baltimore 156 mil, Tampa Bay 73 mil. So I mean not a huge discrepancy, right? Only $200 million from the top to bottom. Don't see an issue there, MLB. But anyway, um, I have I have Tampa Bay finishing last. I know they never finished last. I don't know. Did they finish last year? Probably.
They did.
Um,
Did they?
Yeah. I think they
well,
lost 100 games.
I have them finishing last. They still seem kind of in turmoil. They're still not going to spend any money. Um,
I looked up their lineup too. I think Xavier Edwards is the only name I can remember.
He's on the
it
Marlins.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I
You're
was.
thinking of the wrong team.
I am. Doesn't
both
matter. Still
I
not
was like,
good.
Tampa didn't lose 100 games. I was going to argue with you, but
both Florida teams are going to suck. Um, and they're going to make moves to get prospects. They're not going to send prospects to get players and try to win. So
for the
Tampa Bay,
record, Toronto at 74 was in last place. Tampa had 80 wins last year.
I was thinking the Marlins. That's all.
Yeah.
That's my
I was
fault,
like,
I
listeners.
I do that all the time. I feel like they're colors are the halfway the same, and um, two two types of sea animals, right? Toronto. Does Toronto actually have blue jays? I feel like all birds would die in the cold up there, but maybe they actually have blue jays. I don't know. Global warming, they're probably migrating north. So again, what a team for 234. The biggest news is well, the biggest news is that they can't make the news. That's hilarious. Can't sign anybody. They can't sign external players. They can't sign internal players. Lol. Sorry, Toronto, fourth place. I would have had this team in first, probably until they lost their ace. And with Garrett Cole going out, man, I don't see how the Yankees they could still get first. I mean, they have solid players, but do they have a solid team? Without Cole, I don't trust a lot of it. So I have them in third. I was really debating on Bo Sox versus Baltimore for first and second, second and first, and first and second, second and first. Um, and I think Boston will probably take it, but I didn't go with them. I put Boston in second. Big lefty pickup reminds me of myself, the guy from the White Sox, Garrett. Um, but I think some of their hitting will take a step back this year.
Have you ever thrown anything left-handed for a strike? I stand corrected.
Just did it, listeners. I know
Just
you couldn't
missed his
see
whole
that, but
house. So.
I just dislocated my left shoulder is what I did. And then I'm rocking the shirt tonight. I mean, I really
Yeah,
only
I
have
see
about
it. I see
three
it.
different team shirts, but for our
I
listeners,
love that. I love that logo.
I'm rocking a Baltimore Orioles shirt. Wish they would have done more in the offseason. I mean, they just signed Kyle Gibson back. That's a joke,
World
but
Series.
um, they're still young and hungry, and those guys should just take another step forward. And they're already like pretty close to elite players there. Several of them. Hopefully, Holiday can take a step forward, become an everyday player. I've already talked a lot, so I'm going to kick it over to Jay Lee the Rover,
Hi.
and let's hear his picks that are wrong.
Okay. Let's hear them, right? Um, Let me break down my 600 tier system real quick. Um, no, I kept it. I think I kept it pretty simple. I put the Blue Jays last. I just feel like they're going to end up trading everybody off by the deadline. Their GM came out and said that they still think they can sign Vlad. Vlad's gone. Like, that's something you say to try to keep the fans interested. Trust me, I'm a Cardinals fan. I've heard that many times. Um, Looking at the Rays roster, who I thought was the Marlins, right now on their 40-man roster, they only have two outfielders. So,
Good start.
so that's kind of a problem. Um,
Guess who could be their third?
Not you.
Oh, okay.
I don't think you've ever stepped foot in the outfield. Um, I do like their pitching. I feel like Tampa Bay always has good pitching, so I feel like that can keep them around for a little bit. I know Shane McClanahan. I think he's out to start the season, but I don't know for how long. He's on my fantasy team and it says out, so I'm just going to assume he's out for a week or two.
It just
This
said
is fam.
tricep irritation, which the way he acted, you would have thought his arm blew up. So it looks scary, but
I've been
apparently
there.
right now they're saying the elbow's fine, shoulder's fine, which he's come back from Tommy John. So they're hoping it's he'll be back at some point this season. But
The elbow and the shoulder are fine. His hand fell off. No, what did you say his name was?
Shane McClanahan.
Is that the brake pad family? Or
that's a
different?
Callahan's. McClanahan's
Oh yeah,
sell
yeah,
blinker fluid.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Nice. Um, but yeah, so I got the Rays finishing fourth. And this is where it got tricky for me. And I got to go with what I wrote down, but now I'm looking at it like I might be the biggest idiot on the planet.
You heard my points.
No, I didn't. But it really, it really struck me because, and this is just, I'm just gonna say it, Baltimore in third.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
Like, don't get me wrong, their offense is gonna be legit. But after they let Corbin Burns walk, they didn't really sign an ace, right?
Yeah. I mean, Charlie Morton.
Yeah, my point. Charlie Morton, Kyle Gibson.
They brought over that other older, I think he's 35, Sugano. I'm not sure how to say his name exactly. He's had a real good Japan career, but he's 35 and came over on 1 year deal also. So
He's
it's
in his
like
prime.
another like
Yep.
Charlie Morton type. They're putting
Same thing
band-aids on their
happened.
rotation.
Same thing happened with the Cardinals signing over the Lizard King, and he's still on our roster. So Miles Michaelis. Anyway, yeah, I'm not worried about the O's offense, but them just not replacing Corbin Burns, I think, is gonna shoot them in the foot. And then I was a big fan of what the Red Sox did this offseason, but I do have them finishing second. And I got the Evil Empire still
Bum,
coming up.
bum,
Monsters.
ba-da-da-dum, ba-da-da-dum, ba-da-da-da-ba-bum, bum,
Boom,
ba-da-da-dum,
boom, 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 boom,
ba-da-da-da-da-da-dum,
boom, boom,
mm.
boom, boom,
Still
boom,
coming out
boom.
on top. Um, Obviously they were big on Juan Soto. That did not pan out, but I think we talked about it. I think that only helped this team. Uh, Losing Cole obviously is huge, but Max Fried, Carlos Rodon. I think they Gill is out too, though. Did I see that? So I mean, they got some injuries, but I think they've got a lot of motivation making the World Series last year, and I think they're trying to prove a point that they're going to win it. So I do think they will be all buy any
And
player
more.
that can come available for them to try to make it to the World Series. And that offense this spring training has looked pretty good with Belly and Judge and Wells. I think Wells is going to be their leadoff guy. I don't know if you guys saw that,
Yeah.
which is kind of cool for a catcher.
Hmm.
Um, and so yeah, I like what they did, and I think they can take them take them to the promised land potentially. Foreshadowing maybe.
Boom, boom, boom. Well, this will be fun. My six-tiered system doesn't
He's
lie.
he's probably got Tampa finishing first somehow.
No, but after doing all the math, and math is facts, so math is true. I got the Yankees in last place.
Oh,
I do. I got them in last place. Okay, they're back into the rotation. It's going to be Carlos Carrasco and Will Warren probably starting the season. They're going to have to rely on those two guys a lot. Stroman, who they've been trying to get rid of, is going to be the number 3 starter. Uh,
but I just
Clark Smith's also hurt. Who else do they have in their pen besides Devin Williams?
I do
Like,
want you to finish your point, but I do
yeah,
want to ask.
I'll
You
let you
mentioned that
finish.
those are their 4 and 5, but where does that make Charlie Morton and Kyle Gibson land as the 1 and 2 for the O's?
yeah. I've got Baltimore as the second worst rotation. I got the
Okay,
Yankees as the worst. So they
okay,
got
all
Freed,
right,
but then it falls off. O's just have a bunch of 4 and 5 starters. They don't have an ace.
okay, okay.
And with Rodriguez dinged up too. Like Rodriguez could be an ace if he ever stays healthy. Um, but yeah, so the Yankees, like 2 years ago, if you remember, Judge went crazy, and it was like Judge had awesome stats, and like the rest of the team hit like 200,
Mm-hmm.
and it was bad. Like they couldn't score any runs. I think it's going to be a lot of that again this year.
Hmm.
Stanton, his arm stopped working apparently. I think
Like,
Goldie's done. DJ LeMay, who's done. Um, yeah, Cody Bellinger, he's hit 400 this spring. That ain't gonna happen. I just don't like their lineup. Their lineup's not good enough to withstand Cole and Heel both being gone. So it surprised me, but they ended up. I got to follow the math. They end up in last place. Toronto has the strongest rotation with a couple of bats and solid defense, but not a deep enough lineup to obviously make any noise. So I got them in fourth. And I think you're right. If they better be smart and trade Vlad and Bo if they're not going to sign these guys, like they can't just get draft picks for them. So I think they might even get worse second half of the season, trading their best 2 bats. So surprised, even after McClanahan got hurt, I still think Tampa's got the second best rotation to Toronto in the division. Um, they all throw upper 90s. They're all healthy. Last year they were all hurt. And they always figure out a bullpen. So I'm not going to bet against them all the way. So I got them right in the middle of the pack because I don't think they're going to be that good, but I don't want to bet against them. So Tampa in third. And so it came down to Baltimore and Boston, like Joe was talking about. Really like what Boston did with the rotation. Their rotation is just going to be weak at the beginning because Giolito's still not back. And then they were relying on Brian Bello, I think is how you say his name. He flashed some real good stuff last year and got hurt, and he's hurt again right now. I think Cutter Crawford, another young guy, is already hurt. Not huge injuries, but it seems like they're going to be behind. So their rotation is going to be a little thin, and their bullpen could be awesome, but they're all proven veterans with big names, and they've all had bad springs. So I don't know what to make about their bullpen. Raldis Chapman, Liam Hendricks back there. But the one thing for Boston is they've got a good lineup, and it's only going to get better. They've got all these stud prospects that would be starting on all these other teams that are kind of blocked. They are going with Christian Campbell, opening day second baseman. I don't know if you guys saw that. Their top prospect is going to start at second, and Bregman at third, while Devers is still out. So, and that's not even Yoshida's not even back yet. I mean, he'll be DHing or something when he's healthy. So I got Boston in two, and I ended up with Baltimore winning it. So I'm with Joe in that. I was kind of surprised by that, but I had them sneaking it out because their bullpen is going to be nasty, and they're going to score a lot of runs. So their starters just have to get 6 innings, which everybody in the rotation goes 6 innings, gives up 3 runs. Back in the 90s, that was a quality start. You wanted that. That's also a 4.5 ERA. So if all their rotation throws up 4 to 5 ERAs with their bullpen all healthy and deep, deep, deep pool of position players and just more coming. Like out of all 5 teams, the Orioles can withstand the most injuries, especially on the player position side. So I think the depth pushes them over the top this year. And they got enough starting pitching. I don't think their pitching is good enough for the playoffs. They don't have the aces to carry playoff series, when you only need like 2 or 3 studs. But for a whole season, I think they'll be competitive every game and will win most of them. So Baltimore, Boston, 1-2 neck and neck at the top. Tampa falling in the middle, probably around 500 again, with Toronto and the Yankees both falling below 500. That's what I've got.
Well, thank you. I think that take there is what's going to get us 10,000 more views.
For the lulls.
Like, who's
Man,
going to hit besides Judge?
you got to believe in Belly. And Jazz Chisholm Jr. is there too.
I have,
Just
I've been a fan of Jazz Chisholm for years and keep talking. He's going to do 30-30. You know what he keeps doing? 13 and 13. Okay, I'm done with him.
Well, what are you doing?
and just I
Talking
I
about
mean
Jazz
I would
Chisholm.
probably agree, but like a washed LeMahieu, a washed Goldsmith is still better than some of those hitters on the other teams that don't have a name. Don't ask me to
LeMahieu's
name them;
not
they
even
don't have a name.
LeMahieu's not even playing right now.
Mm-mm. And I mean, look, Yankees do have a lot with. I mean, Jason Dominguez getting him a full season, I think will only benefit him. But I mean,
He's
that's
got to
still,
he's got to step up because
yeah,
they don't have anybody
that's
else.
that's that's still a
I
question mark. So I understand that.
I feel like it could unravel for the Yankees because they have so much pressure, right? And
Yeah,
I don't know, it just like I have a gut feeling, whatever that means, that their mental fortitude, if they start off like 10-20 and they got a $275 million payroll, their fans are gonna go crazy. The
Mhm.
MLB is gonna go crazy, and they're just gonna fold.
I mean,
yeah.
if you roll out Freed, Cole, Heel, your first three of the every week, well, you're easily winning 85, 90 games, regardless of what your offense does. But you're rolling out Stroman, Will Warren, and Carlos Carrasco, hopefully. All of a sudden, I don't think their offense is good enough.
Yeah, I mean the Yankees bullpen is. I did look it up. A little bit of question marks outside of Devin Williams. But I mean, look, the O's better score a lot of runs because those starting pitchers are probably giving them 12 to 13 runs in the first 3 innings.
Is
So
Grayson Rodriguez healthy?
He's dinged up again, but it's nothing major. But I mean, I think Eflin, Morton, Sagano, Kramer, they're all 4 to 4.5 ERAs. Like, if they can stay in the low fours, their lineup is so good. And their bullpen with healthy
yeah,
Bautista and all the arms that they've built is. I wish, though. I don't know. I gave them the fourth best rotation, said it's slightly better than the Yankees now that the Yankees are all hurt. But how can you not add more to that rotation, Baltimore? Like, it's a,
Uh,
you need that ace for the playoffs, and they don't
they're
have
I
it.
probably
think
So
scared they got to pay all these players soon.
you're probably not wrong there.
yeah,
I think letting Burns go is probably the right move
Sure.
because how many years did he? I know he gave Arizona a discount, but it's still several years, right?
7?
seven
Was
for
it
like
7?
210, 215, something like that.
With like
Freed got
opt-out
something
clauses. I
similar.
don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like the
seems
top
to be.
guys were going for 7, 8 years over 200 million.
Yeah.
But I would have loved to see them go for like trade for Crochet. Like you could have matched Boston and beat Boston in what they offered. They gave up a lot, I think, in prospects, but Baltimore has it. Boston also got Walker Buehler to come on a 1 year deal. I think that's huge. Like that's a proven playoff dog right there.
Oh,
That Boston's
Roof,
got on a
roof.
1 year deal, so Boston made better choices in the rotation. Their back end guys are all hurt right now, so their depth is going to be really challenged. All right, so we've got Yankees with Jared, and then we got Baltimore and Red Sox battling it out with me and Joe. So let's kick it over
nice.
to the best league, the National League, and the best division, the East. And Jared, take us away to the National League East.
Yeah. Best division for sure. Best section of the division? Debatable.
Best division of the Eastern Nationals.
That's
There you
right.
go.
The far
Um,
Northeasterners.
I think this division in itself is probably going to be the most exciting one to talk about because I feel like we talked about the Central. Don't think anybody's going to touch the Cubs. Talk about the West. It's obviously the Dodgers. I think this is the one where I could get if you could make a case for at least two teams to potentially, in my opinion. Aaron's got his lovely map,
Six tiered system.
six-tiered system that is favored all towards the Braves. Figured out. Um, but no, this one's always seems like a fun one because every analyst always picks the Mets to somehow come out and win, and they just face plant, and it's glorious every year. Um, but yeah, I'll kick it off here. I obviously talked about this team and thought they were the Tampa Bay Rays, so the Marlins, the Marlins are finishing last.
Miami. You got the
Hmm.
hat on, dude. Oh, that's Mexico, isn't it? My
That's
bad, my bad.
Mexico, yeah. And because the shirt says
Your shirt's
"Adios,
awesome.
Adios, baseball." Shout out to Homage, which is also shout out to New Heights. Kelsey Brothers, come and join us,
Yeah, we're
please.
looking for sponsors.
Yep. But yeah, the Marlins. Like I said, I know one player. That's Xavier Edwards, and I don't know. Until that team, I think, moves out of Miami, they're just gonna be awful. Maybe change your name back to Florida Marlins. Give that a shot. Um, so they're dead last, and then I put the Mets. Actually, yeah, that's what I wrote down. Go me. That's awesome. Um, obviously signing Juan Soto. I mean, $760 million for one player is a lot of money. You brought back Pete Alonso. That pitching staff is pretty scary. Like I don't doesn't and
Very
by scary I mean no team is scared of it. Facing that you'd be like, oh cool, I'm probably gonna have a good day today. So outside of, I mean, Lindor, who's let's see if he does what he did last year. I think could be on the tail end of his career. Pete Alonso, you know you're going to get 40 to 50 homers out of him, but average defense. Soto, I do think. I mean, looking we when we broke that down, surprisingly, like his stats were for what he got paid. I think we all were kind of like just average. So he's gonna have to do a lot more than play that to carry that team for sure. And they got some young, exciting players. I mean, like the other Acuna brother is there, right?
Hmm.
And he's on the
Luis
roster.
Angel. He'll have a chance to be at second because McNeil's starting on the IL. So I don't know if they've
Okay,
said if it's going to be Acuna or Beatty playing second.
gotcha. Anyway, like I said, a lot there to try to build off of with not a lot on talent on the roster. So, third place, I have the Nationals. Looking at their lineup, I like it. I like it a lot. CJ Abrams, James Woods, Dylan Cruz, I think could be a solid top of the order. Let me look up. Someone fill the void here for a second. Let me look up there. I was looking at
You
something.
said you like their lineup. I'll go ahead and say I don't know if any of these guys would start for any other team in the league. I don't know if that's enough filler
Well,
time for you, but
Full year
it's
of Wood, full year of Cruz. Garcia won the Silver Slugger at second. Abrams, his problems is his defense, so he can hit for a shortstop, no problem.
yeah.
And then their top prospect now that Cruz is up is a third baseman who should be ready anytime.
hmm Yeah, I mean, leading the charge in the pitching staff is Mackenzie Gore, which I think he could be a pretty solid piece. So pitching staff's little unproven, but I mean to finish third in the East, I think is a big step forward for them. I forgot Josh Bell's back, which I've always liked him switch it, and Nathaniel Lowe I think was a good get for them. But then I look at who's playing third base for them, and it's Paul DeYoung, and so that's
Mhm.
why I was like, oh, never mind.
Keeping it warm. He's keeping it warm for Brady House.
Yeah. Um, yeah, and then just some depth. They got Ahmed Rosario, which I think is a good veteran to have on the team. But yeah, I kind of like what they're doing here. And then Soroka, I forgot he signed there. That'd
Mhm.
be a good redemption story. I always liked him.
Yeah, rough spring, so we'll see. We'll see.
Okay, never
He's a
mind.
lock for the rotation because that's why they signed him, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm
All
hopeful.
right. Okay, I'll wrap it up here quickly. My my heart said Phillies,
in
but
my
my
mind.
but my body, um, but my gut said Braves. So you always go with your gut. So Phillies two, Braves first. Um, I mean, I have two of the top people on my fantasy team with Acuna and Strider being out, and just taking them off of the roster until they come back is still pretty scary. Uh, honestly, Cooney, the only thing I'm gonna say is like, I don't it'd be interested to see if Austin Riley does offensively what he did last year again. I think that could be. I think Matt Olson's gonna be fine. He's gonna hit 240 with 50 dingers. Um, Michael Harris, I think, is electric. He's fun to watch. I know I questioned the Profar signing, but I mean, he's a pretty solid defensive left fielder. Left fielder, is that right?
Yeah, he's playing left, and his on base skills is the biggest thing. Is he doesn't whiff like all the other Braves do.
Yeah. And then Arcia is playing short, is that right?
Yeah,
So that
I
might be the
wish I
only.
wish you could DH for your shortstop. Can we do
Yeah.
that?
You can if you're the Pittsfield Sockies. Trust me, it's happened to me. Um, but I think Arcia might be their only weak spot, like offensively. But I mean, he plays really good defense. So,
Hmm.
I'm not saying he's Andrelton Simmons, but it's like Andrelton Simmons-esque of like filling offensive around him and just letting him play
He's
shortstop. And
got a
then,
similar arm, but he is not agile and acrobatic like
yeah.
Simmons was.
And so, I mean, you'll have a good depth when Acuna comes back. I mean, you still got Jared Kalenic. Yeah.
Hmm.
And then, of course, you got Marcell Ozuna.
Colonic.
I don't think
We s-
he'll.
we signed your boy last week too for outfield depth. Alex Verdugo, baby. It's going to be sitting
Oh,
AAA,
he
waiting
finally
for a
signed with a
call.
team. Okay,
Yeah.
good for him. I thought he was not going to be anywhere. And then it'll be interesting to see if Chris Sale was what Chris Sale was last year.
Mhm.
Um, but I think, yeah, not worried about your bullpen. Rotation's going to be good. And then you signed Chavez again, right? For the sixth
Yeah,
time.
Jesse Chavez came back yesterday.
He's back again. So,
And
um,
Kimbrel. Got Kimbrel.
and Kimbrel. So, I mean, I think
Lots of veteran depth.
that's the thing about this lineup. The big thing for me is just like breaking it down and not even having two key players like still pretty electric. And then when they come back, they can take that team to the next level. So that's why I gave them the edge on the Phils. Love Bryce Harper, but uh, had to go with my gut here. So, Joe, I'll kick it to you because I'll let the Braves man go last.
You smart
Oh
man, Jared.
yeah. Okay, off the bat, payrolls, Mets 312, lull.
Oh my
Phillies
gosh.
278, Braves 206. Only division with three teams over 200, I believe. Um, Nats 98, Marlins 47. So not a real big discrepancy there in the payrolls that these teams are doling out.
But
In
what's crazy,
last
Joe?
place,
What's crazy,
Go
Joe,
ahead.
is the Braves could easily, I don't know how they do it. The Braves could easily be in that same 300 payroll, but for whatever reason, these players are like, sure, I'll take a discount. I'll sign for cheap.
Want to win,
So
They
baby.
they lucked out there a few years ago getting some players like that for sure. In last place easily.
put the
Uh,
Braves, nice, dude.
Tampa Bay
um,
Rays because you can't tell apart.
in last place, the
No, that's me.
Washington Nationals. Um,
Oh,
I
really?
definitely could make the pitching staff. I probably couldn't crack the top lineup, but
So
horrible pitch.
you're gonna Joey Gallo
Nobody.
it?
I mean, they're losing one of their better hitters in Joey Gallo, so he was right up there with everybody else in OPS. So last place. Next is Miami. I don't know if I can name anybody off their team, but I just figured they're probably better than the Nationals. Um, I mean, they're another one of those teams that seem to do well with finding random players that can win in some games for no money. So, you're welcome for that super in-depth report on the Marlins. Got them finishing fourth. Um, I have. I just don't see how the Mets can win it with the rotation that they have. I think their lineup's definitely good enough. They got let's see if I can pull this off. They got that coming out of the bullpen, which I mean is fantastic, right? Um, but how can you have a $300 million team and no pitching, no starting pitcher? So I guess I got them in third. Um, I think if Strider and if Ozuna come back and produce 80% of what they can do, I mean, they'll probably do 80%. If they come back how they were in the past, the Braves would probably win, but I guess I'm banking on them not doing it. So I have the Braves in second place. They're so like 2023 was a joke of an offensive season for them. They performed up here, and then last year they crashed too far back down. So I think their hitting definitely comes back up. A little surprised maybe they didn't do more in the offseason, but if you have a if you have Acuna coming back, you think, well, that's our pickup. I think their pitching takes a step back, even with getting Strider. You go look at some of the numbers those pitchers put up. That's probably not going to happen again. Um, but I mean, I think it'll be a dogfight for that top spot. I guess I'm just going with Phillies for the consistency that they had, and they took the division last year. Did they make any what kind of moves did the Phillies make? Maybe I should already know that, but I don't.
They added Max Kepler and Jesus Luzardo.
But as far as losses, I mean, Jesus ain't a terrible pickup.
They got another year older.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's not nothing. Nolan Wheeler are not getting any younger, but they took the division last year, so I'll be lazy and pick them for this year. But the Braves could definitely be there too. I don't. No, I was about ready to say I like the Mets. I hope they do well. I hate the Mets. Spend $300 million, get out of my face. So I hope the Mets get last.
Oh, wonderful.
All right, on to the playoff predictions.
Excuse me? Excuse me, ladies. So Jared, I
A
have
little
the
help now.
exact same thing that Jared had. I can't believe this. I've got Marlins, Mets, Nationals, Phillies, Braves. I will say this. I think as much bias as I have for the Braves, you guys always look for bias against the Braves just because you don't want to support me, which is fine. I expect it. Um, I think even if Strider and Cunha don't come back, they still have the best offense and the best rotation in the division. And then you're going to get those guys back. I mean, Strider's on track to make 28 starts probably. He'll miss a couple at the beginning of the year. If he makes 28 starts, he's leading the league in strikeouts. Um, and Acuna, he's taking it slower than he did last time, or else he would have been on the opening day roster. And he's going to wait a whole another month. So I'm excited for it. I think Joe's right. 2 years ago, they were the best offense statistically, like ever. And then last year, they were all horrible except for Ozuna. So if they just kind of sit in the middle, and they had 6 of their 10 opening day guys, 6 guys that started opening day missed at least 2 months because of injuries last year. And they still won 89 games with that horrible slump of a team. So, I mean, they're easily 95 wins without Strider and Acuna, I think. So, um,
That's the
but
team
yeah,
they
the
had last year, though.
Nationals. What's that?
That's the team they had last year, and they won 89.
Yeah, Riley missed the last 2 months. Albies missed the last 2 months. Murphy missed 2 months. So Olsen and Azuna are the only two that played all year. Harris missed 2 months. Now, if they all get hurt again, that just sucks. But I'm banking on them. Their injuries are all getting healthy, where some of these teams are just now getting hurt. So hopefully that helps the Braves out a little bit. But I just want to talk a little bit more about the Nationals. I was surprised Jared talked about them as much as he did. But yeah, their rotation's missing a couple of young guys, Josiah Gray and Kate Savali. If those two guys are healthy with Gore, I'd like their chances a lot more. But my 6-tiered system came up with a 3-way tie: the Mets, Phillies, and Washington for second, third, and fourth. And so I had to break it down into a player by player battle to determine my 2 spots. And the Mets just gotten they've got those 3 guys, Lindor, Soto, and Alonso, and then the rest of their lineup is not good. They've got 3 DHs going to play every day in the field. I mean, you're
Yikes.
Vientos can't play third, Alonso can't play first, Soto can't play anywhere in the field. I mean, he's a bad outfielder, and yeah, and Alvarez got a broken hand, and so he's going to be out their catcher for a while. So
Do
I
you use
just
your
don't
hand to
want
throw?
need your hand to catch and to swing a bat. I don't know which hand he broke, but it's not a deep team. And Phillies, I still think get second based off of they're just a lot of studs, but they are older. Like Real Muto has trending backwards, and he's 34. Trey Turner is one of the worst shortstops defensively, and he's going to be 32. Castellanos has got to play the outfield because Schwarber can't. So it's another aging team, but they're still studs. So I think they get second. They're the only team that I'm worried about. But the Nationals, all these young guys, and adding Nathaniel Lowe and Josh Bell, Nationals had the fewest home runs besides the White Sox last year. And so all of a sudden you get in a full year of Wood. That could be 30 homers. Dylan Cruz could be 30 homers. Nathaniel Lowe could be 30 homers. Bell could be 30 homers. Um, and the excitement that is around that team with all these young guys. So And here's the last play for the Nationals. We've talked about the last couple of years. There's always one team that makes a surprising 12 to 15 win increase that nobody saw coming that sneaks in the playoffs. Last year it was Kansas City. You know, they went from mid 70s to almost 90 wins or whatever and won the division. Year before that, Diamondbacks and Rangers both made those crazy jumps. Like the Rangers, like 30 games. That wasn't quite as surprising because the payroll they have. But there's always a team that makes a jump sooner than everybody was anticipating. And so for this year, I hadn't identified that team yet in any of these rankings. And so I'm giving it to the Nationals. They won 71 games last year with this 29th ranked offense, like power wise. So, like, if they just go to middle of the pack and the Mets are worse than everybody's saying they're going to be, I think they could easily get to a 500 record. And, 500's flirting playoffs. So,
Playoffs.
That's my fun team to watch this year is can the Nationals be that team this year that makes that 10 to 12 win increase and
Jared,
surprise
did
everybody.
you, Jared, did you have the Nationals ahead of the Mets as well?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Third
Okay,
place.
will either of you take a money bet on that?
Yeah.
Not on
the
air.
that the Nationals finish above the Mets.
Yeah, I'll do $10.
All right, $10.
And
Listeners,
we don't have to handshake. This is on a podcast and we can go back and
yeah,
listen
we
to
got
it.
it.
Yeah.
Listeners, I would encourage you to reach out to Jared and also bet for a free $10.
Bring it on. I love it.
They got a better, deeper lineup than the Mets do. The Mets are very top heavy. Both rotations are trash. The Mets have Diaz. Finnegan saved a lot of games last year. I don't know how, but he keeps saving a lot of games. But neither bullpen's loaded. So that's my surprise team. There's always got to be one surprise team. So I gave it to the Nationals.
Hey, I like your choices.
Thanks, Jared. So to round out, before we predict playoffs, we need some wild card teams. So who's up?
How many wild card teams
We
are
need
there?
3 wild cards. Joe,
Three?
you want
For
to kick us
each
off with
league.
that?
3 for
Yeah.
each league.
We're doing NL or AL first?
I don't remember. AL. Who's AL?
Oh, you're gonna make me flip pages. And you're marking all this down?
Yeah, I'm filling it in our bracket right now as I'm looking.
Okay, I'll go. Oh man, I had Seattle in third place. So wild card Padres. Um, oh wait, we're doing AL. My
Yeah,
bad.
I was like, wait a minute. Come on, Corey.
Oh man, I got too many
I was
pages
just
here.
I
All
was
these,
just waiting to see.
I got a 6 million tiered system here.
I was just
Uh,
I was just waiting to see if you were gonna say the Padres and then 2 AL teams.
Yeah, I know. I was waiting.
Okay,
Is
let's
that
go
Mariners
Boston.
first? Boston. All right.
Let's go Boston. Let's go. Do I have the Yankees missing the playoffs? Screw you, Yankees. And I'll go.
I got him in last place. So
I'll go. I guess I'll go Cleveland and Texas. Sorry, Seattle. Man, I like Seattle.
Oh, gross.
I
Take
don't like it
Cleveland?
either, Jay Lee.
So Joe's going with all second place teams. So he's got a wild card from each division. We should have looked to see how often that happens. I feel like it doesn't happen that often, but maybe I'm wrong.
I almost skipped the Central, but
Jared, who you got for your American League wild cards?
Yeah. There's only one AL Central team making the playoffs, and that's the Royals.
yeah,
Everyone
Can I
else.
change mine?
Yeah, sure, go for it.
Take Cleveland out and put Seattle in.
So you got Rangers in 2-1 and Mariners behind them. All right.
Okay. You're welcome, Joe.
Thank you.
I picked Baltimore, the Walker Texas Rangers, and the Boston Red Sox.
And guys are a Ranger.
All righty. Let me find one real quick. Where'd I put it?
Your
I've
six-tier
got
system.
yeah. I've got the Rangers as the top wild card because I had them. My 6-tiered system had them That's a tie with the Astros. I gave the edge to the Astros.
Oh, I'll say mine were in no particular order, by the way.
Oh, well, if you have the Mariners third, that means Rangers got to be ahead of them.
True, true.
That's math. Then I've got Kansas City. So I had the Twins winning the division. And then I've got the Red Sox getting in there as well. I guess no particular order. I got one from each division too. I didn't realize that. All right. National League, Jared, what do we got for wild cards?
Obviously, the Phillies, Padres, and then my surprise pick here, just because I feel like the other divisions are so bad, I put the San Francisco Giants.
Okay, so you have the D-backs getting third and the Giants getting fourth.
Ooh, did I?
You have the D-backs at third. You have the Cardinals in second.
Huh.
You have the Nationals in third.
Let me
That's
give
not
you
good.
let me give you a clue, Jay Lee.
Is that a Slytherin snake?
It might have to be the Diamondbacks. It's got to be the Diamondbacks. And I
gotta
forgot
be.
I did that. It's another team out of the West for sure.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right,
Phils,
Joe, what do
Padres,
you got?
Diamondbacks.
Very similar. I don't know. Maybe it's not similar at all. I didn't hear what you said, Jay Lee. Padres, Diamondbacks, Braves.
Thank you for
you-
listening, Joe.
Did you have Padres in there?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you got three from the West as well. I came up with Diamondbacks. They're my second place team in the West. Did you guys know that they led the league in runs scored last year? Anybody know that? Little fun fact. And that's with Corbin Carroll being absolute trash for 5 out of 6 months. And they'll be better.
I'll
So,
cross Corbin's name off the list.
yep. So Diamondbacks, Phillies, of course. And then the Nationals, that's my surprise team sneaking in the playoffs. They're going to be the team that makes the jump. Somebody's got to do it. They get
Oh
to
my gosh,
83,
dude.
84 wins. It was them or the Giants. And I think they'd both be flirting with a 500 record.
60 wins.
See, this is why we can never agree on things. We got the divisions lined up in the East, and then you
Hey,
throw
at
out.
least I picked a team that wasn't fourth in my standings, all right? So leave me alone.
I forgot. I didn't look. You know what?
Uh-oh. You
Don't look
killed
at
Jay
the
Lee.
Excel
He just
spreadsheet that you
froze.
and Corey make.
You just froze on that. You need to start that rant over or let it go
Yeah.
because you just froze like this,
Sorry,
yelling at me.
I said. You know that I don't look at the Excel spreadsheet that you and Corey make. You know this is for a fact. And I had my notes, but Yep, there it is. Yep. Okay, so I should have looked at that
The
before I
Excel
made a pick.
spreadsheet for the record is Corey's because you know I'm handwriting all this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. But man, to pick the Nationals to make the wild card, that's bold, man. But you also picked the Yankees that finished last, so I guess I should expect nothing less from
That surprised me. I went into it thinking the Nationals could topple the Mets. Did not think they'd be in the playoffs necessarily, but this six-tiered system spoke, and it has to be. The Yankees surprised me though. All right, so we're just jumping ahead to the World Series. We need final World Series predictions. Who wants to
Man,
go
I
first?
I went back and forth on this.
I see no reason why the Dodgers would not make the World Series. Unless, of course, they have multiple players out at the end of the season, but you could say that about any team. And then I, I mean, I just come up with this right off the top of my head. That's what I bring. That's what I bring to a podcast. That's what I bring to a workplace. That's what I bring to a coaching tree. That's what I bring
I
to
was
the
going to say
world.
cookout. I bring the cookout.
I'm bringing ketchup to the cookout. That's it. Let me give this one more once over. Yep. See, and then even when you double check, you still realize your gut's right. They're gonna make a move in the middle of the season, and it's gonna be like this is the one that's coming in my head. When the Cardinals traded for Matt Holliday, and he came over and he had like he averaged like an RBI a game for like the last 2.5 months of the season. It's crazy. I don't know who that player is gonna be, but this team's gonna pick him up.
and
They're gonna
the
pick a Matt Holiday.
Seattle Mariners are going to be in the World Series. Yeah. Yeah, bank on it,
We
baby.
had to let him do a
Wow.
redo just to get them in the playoffs as a wild card, and now he's going to the World Series. So you got
Yep.
Dodgers
Okay.
over Mariners.
Oh, we're picking
What?
a winner right now?
Yeah.
I mean, if you got the Monstars playing the Mon Knots, yep, I guess you're going with the Dodgers. Jared, your camera can't keep up when you're moving so fast.
I know. Oh my gosh, that was good.
Butchered Corey's spreadsheet, but okay.
You have a Monstar
That's okay.
tat?
He can fix it. Monstar?
All right, Jared, what do you
If
got?
you don't have one, you should get one.
Monstar, dude. I would pick the Toon Squad hands down.
True,
Bugs
true.
Bunny, #1.
Get them both.
He's got
It's
lower
true.
buddy.
Right here.
One,
One,
yeah, I
two.
was gonna say one side of your face with one and have the basketball at the tip of your nose.
You wanted me to go next?
Yeah, go for it.
This is like I said, I went back and forth on a lot of this. So I have the St. Louis
You froze again.
Cardinals
Wait, you
not
froze
making the
again.
World Series.
Okay, okay.
Okay, there we go.
Oh
Gotcha.
man.
You
No,
go.
it
I
came
have
through,
St.
but
Louis
So you didn't hear what
no,
not
it
making
came
the
I said?
through
Not
playoffs. It
making
just
the
came
World
like
through
Series.
recently.
Ricky
Yeah.
Tikki Tavi.
Um, but the team that I have, multiple teams making the World Series here. I have the Phillies. Yep, right. Go ahead and put that in.
Got it.
And then, like Joe, I picked the Mariners.
Yeah. Hey Lee. I'll give you that $10 back
Mhm.
if they make it.
And then I had Philly over Seattle.
Philly over Mariners. You think this old Philly squad finally going to get through?
They got to, for Bryce Harper's sake, man. He's gonna play till he's 50 if they don't.
Well, I've got Braves over Rangers.
The
The
surprise of the
Rangers,
century.
Wow, big
can they stay
shocker.
healthy during the year to beat the Astros? That'll be tough. But I'm just really hoping, for the sake of the game, that DeGrom is ready for the playoffs.
The Astros aren't good, man. So that'll be easy.
But the Rangers offense took a big step back last year, so they're all healthy. I go with Rangers. I like Bruce Bochy steering the ship. All right, so we have somehow Dodgers over Mariners, even though the Mariners are the fifth wild card in the three wild card system for Joe. We've got Phillies over Mariners, and then everybody's favorite East Coast analyst has Braves over Rangers.
Who
There
did
we
you have
go.
last year, Aaron?
Who did I have last year?
Yeah.
Uh, Probably Braves, I assume, right?
Who'd you have the year before?
They're one of the best teams every year. Why would I not pick
I
them?
think the Braves.
Us.
And you know
Yeah,
who everybody has as the second best team in the league? Prediction wise,
Cardinals?
betting odds, all that stuff. All the projections say Braves
St. Louis.
and the Dodgers.
So
So,
why wouldn't you go with the first team over them?
because I don't think the Dodgers are going to be healthy. They have run out of pitching, so have the Braves. The Braves and Dodgers have both run out of pitching the last 3 or 4 years.
Do you have our predictions from last year in a folder?
Oh, I bet I could find them.
I'd be curious to see who we pick.
I don't know if I want to know.
Probably the most
I had
intelligent
the
picks
Orioles
ever.
versus the Diamondbacks last year, and that didn't
Joe
help.
had Orioles over D-backs. I had Braves over Astros. Jared had Yankees over Phillies. Corey had Phillies over Astros.
Well, at least I got one of the teams right.
Yeah, the Yankees looked like they were destined to
I mean,
be
you guys
there.
had bad picks. You got nothing.
Mm-hmm. So there we go. I don't know if we go back one more year.
Got
Dang,
2020.
this is our third time picking. That's crazy.
I
Right?
know it is crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, no, you're right.
Mm-hmm. We started off in March of 23. So we had 23 and then 24.
Here we are. Here we are.
Here we are.
Another trip around the sun, fellas.
Third time's charm. Me picking the Braves. All righty. Any final thoughts, guys? Opening day is Thursday, so hopefully this pod is up tomorrow. That's the goal.
My final
Yep.
thought. I texted you guys this. I'm just frustrated with St. Louis.
Yeah.
You talk about starting your young guys and you send down your best pitcher in AAA. Like, make it make sense. And then you're going to a 6-man rotation, like in 2 weeks into the season, they announced. So I'm just like, what are we doing?
Is he coming back up for that?
I don't know. I don't think so. No, I think it's Gray, Michaelis, Fetty,
Mats?
Mats.
No, Mats is not starting.
Yeah,
Oh,
but I'm saying, but I
Palante?
think Palante and Libator. But I'm thinking Mats is going to be part of that 6-man rotation. That's what they're saying.
So Libertor got the fifth spot right now?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
honestly, like
should be Libertor or McGreevy. Get them both in there.
Arenado looking good in spring, so shove it, St. Louis.
Trade him.
Is he
Shove
though?
him out the door.
I'll say I'm excited but pessimistic.
Yeah,
That
I think
if
I'm
those two
I'm
could go
excited.
together.
I'm excited for St. Louis, just because we are starting a good chunk of young guys, but just let every young guy play, especially pitching. You got to find an ace. Like,
Yeah. Well, McGreevy had a 1 ERA in spring training. That's a start.
yep. See you later.
The fun part for the Braves will be Drake Baldwin, number one prospect, left-handed catcher, lefty swinging catcher. He'll be starting opening day with Murphy going to miss the first couple weeks with that broken rib healing. He's just an on-base beast. And all of a sudden he started hitting homers last year. And it kind of surprised everybody, but he's been catching everybody this spring. Everybody loves his defensive abilities. That was never an issue. As a matter of how much power he would have in the bigs. But he just works the counts. He had as many walks I think he had 56 walks and 54 strikeouts last year in AAA. So like he walks as much as he strikes out, and he swings lefty. So even if he starts off good and Murphy comes back, I could see him keeping him in the bigs as a righty lefty kind of platoon guy. So it'll be fun. And the Braves are
Yeah.
giving the fifth spot to Smith Shaver, who's only 22. He debuted at 20 a couple years ago when the Braves went through a rash of injuries. He made one start last year, 4 1/3 shutout innings, pulled his oblique, and then didn't pitch again until game 1 of the playoffs because everybody else was
Okay.
hurt. And
Not bad.
looked overmatched, but he's looked great this spring. It looks like he's slowing himself down. He used to like rush to his wind up like he was a little antsy and nervous. But this spring, he's got easy gas, finishes like Strider, like just explodes out of his hand. So it'll be fun. Those are the two young guys to watch in Atlanta.
Yeah, I think it'll be another exciting series. I know we give a lot of crap about the Dodgers, but we've said it multiple times on here. You just got to get in the playoffs and anything can happen. So I think that's what's exciting about baseball. And like I said, baseball, please just make games more accessible to fans to watch. That's all I ask. Make
Yep.
the market bigger. America's pastime for a reason.
That's right.
Want to see doggy paddlers?
Go paddlers. All righty, guys. Until next time, don't forget to Rake
Great.
your
Your position.